Hubud. So we made a hubud video today. My microphone died right before we shot this video, so apologies in advance. The sound is going to have a whole bunch of echo from inside the gym. Hubud, or Higot Hubud-Lubud, which is the full name for it, is really a great platform to develop the ability to improvise, to stay in flow, maybe have a bit of a litmus test other than sparring, a less destructive version than sparring perhaps. Try to see if some of your techniques that you've learned in isolation will come out in an educated way, in flow, right? In an unplanned way. And it becomes this massive game. And it's a ton of fun, and it's a really great platform for investigating and developing your own ability to utilize the things that you've learned in class. And what we looked at was finding some wrenches. We found just a couple things against the elbow. That's really the only thing we focused on for this particular class and video. These are good ones to add to your toolbox and get some good reps in. And then break them out, right? So you use hubud as an opportunity to get a high volume of good quality reps, get that into your muscle memory, but then break out of that platform, put the gloves on and try these things out. You'll find your own creative opportunities to get different type of repetition with it. If you've only got 15 minutes before class or something, you just start jamming out with this and you're going to get a whole lot done. So hopefully you find this helpful in working your close range trapping skills. Maybe my favorite thing to do as a martial artist is my favorite thing to teach. I really love it, and I think that so many interesting discoveries come out of it. So again, I hope that you find some value in this. Just have fun, train safe, train smart, have a good time. Thanks.
Economy and motion as a thing that's going to dictate or drive the ideas that we pursue here, then this makes sense to be our first one. So what we're going to look at today is some basic wrenching that we can do inside of this generator. We're going to attack the elbow first. So we'll take this one stage at a time, which is to say from one position at a time. Catch is the first position, so we'll start there. So I'm catching here. Now this hand happens to be situated on the center but close to this elbow. So if we're seeing economy and motion as a thing that's going to dictate or drive the ideas that we pursue here, then this makes sense to be our first one. So from this catch, I pull this down. So long as the elbow is pointed down, I can pop this up and we'll have these going in two different directions. So that's a quick wrench to this arm. Catch, one up, one down. So I'm just capturing this by the meat of the thumb, here like that. There's a choke point here by the wrist, and it will come to rest. If I pull this down in the direction of my hip, and this one up in the direction of his shoulder, they'll go opposite directions, and that's your wrench. Now typically what you do is open palm slap the tricep so that you don't jeopardize their joint, because it is maybe a little easier than you might think to actually affect this here, so we want to be cautious with our partners. So I tend to pull and just slap on the tricep. So I catch, and instead of lift, I pull down and pop this up. Now to get back into flow, I'm gonna then lift from underneath, suppress, and we're right back into it. You could also, instead of the palm, use the forearm, which is a bigger, stronger mechanism for actually doing this. See this? Bap, like that. So I have catch, pull, and come up with the palm, lift out. Or catch with the forearm, pull down and come up with the forearm. I'm already in that forearm position to lift out. So that one's actually quite seamless when you transition back into this flow. Catch, lift, pat. We already found a wrench from the catch. So now we go catch, lift. So same as before, I'm going to find this choke point here. My hand naturally will slide towards it and get stuck on that arm. As this pulls down in the direction now of this hip, this one comes up, and it's the same wrench here on the outside. I let this hand come out to suppress, and we're right back into it. Catch, lift, down and wrench, tap. From the inside, I had catch, wrench, lift, pat. Now from the outside, I have catch and lift, wrench and pat, right? So you're just kind of moving that over one space in your flow. I wouldn't suggest the forearm one here so much. You could do this, especially if you're looking at that uppercut like that. But what happens a lot is you'll see this here. If my position and timing isn't quite right, he can grab this wrist. If he pulls this against his body, he's got a wrench here, right? So it's pretty easy to be countered with the same thing I'm trying to do. So in isolation, we have inside. We have outside. If we want to put those together, we can go from inside to outside. Lift, so we're working from the outside. So this one now, I pulled same way, but instead of this where the elbow is pointing down, the elbow is pointing to the outside. Either I've dictated it's going to be in this position, or it wound up in this position. So from here, we're just going to elbow wrench. This is kind of your basic wrench that you tend to see, and most techniques come out this way. Boom, here like that. So on this side, I catch, I lift, pull, and so long as this is exposed this way, boom, there's my wrench coming through. From that position, I slide the hand down to suppress and we're back into it. Catch, lift, wrench, pat. Again, isolating, we have one up and down on the inside. We have one up and down on the outside and one through from the outside. And if we want to put these together, then that's 1, 2, and 3, that way. So when we lift, we're going to slide down and zone out just a little bit. Just like that. See this position? His palm is up. So my hand has slid down to this choke point at the wrist, but I'm going to come here. A lot of times you're going to pull just a little bit to get the slack out like that, and to try to lock this up, wrist, elbow, shoulder into a single line. So 1, 2, here like this. Now I'm going to turn and face my back to the camera. But this elbow comes down on top like this. So from this side, so we can see from this side, I catch, lift, bring this around, bang, here like that. Then just suppress it. You really don't need to do much to it. You're essentially just going to feed straight away. So I catch, lift, come out here, bang, from the outside, and we're back in. A lot of times they'll see this taught when this comes around that they're going to stomp this one. As I understand it, it's mostly to prevent him bending the elbow and tackling. Here like this, right? That's a natural counter on his side for him to get away from this. You know, I'm trying to straighten this joint out. It serves him well to bend that joint and prevent that from happening here. So a lot of times you're going to see this come here, boom, so he stays where he is, and then we're down and in like that. So we're going to do one from the inside. So we're going to catch and lift. Circle this around in the same way, but instead of stepping behind this, as I circle this around, I'm going to pass it to my other hand. So I catch, I lift, and pass it to the other hand. See the wrist flexion? This is locked in place, this is locked in place, and this is locked in place. If we need to, we hit him in the shoulder like that just to keep him where he is. Then bang, this one comes over. So catch, lift, pat, catch, lift, bring this around. Here, passing it, 1, 2, pass it, hit it. Focused on this bit. So when he's feeding the angle 1, it might be that a lot of his attention now is on his feet. He's waiting to see if I'm going to do something, or he's in the middle trying to manipulate something. And again, as we said, this becomes an afterthought. So if he lets go with this hand, sweet, I get to hit him, right? But if he stays on, well, the upshot is I know where this hand is. And I know it's not up to much. It's monitoring, but it's not doing much to control. So he's effectively given me a hand, right? So I'm going to come from the catch, throw this away just to make space for a brief moment, and gather this one up. I like to bring the hand underneath. See the pull? Sinking right into this wrench. Suppress, and I just let him feed back in, since it was his feed side anyways, right? It's where we were in the flow. So 1, 2, see this? We could come here, you could come here, here, here. It's all the same thing, same lock as on this side, but we steal this one and do it to this side. Catch, throw it. Gather this one up, bang, bang, here. Review, we'll isolate these and then just plate. So we have inside, or inside with the forearm. Outside with the hand, but not the forearm. Across, or horizontal from the outside against the joint. Circling this around this way, and either switch and stay inside, or circle this around and move behind it and stay outside. Throw it away and come from underneath here, or from over top and turn here, or here, like that. And then your follow-up techniques, they should just be able to flow right from those positions.
I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that the sound held up well enough, and I hope that you got some good useful tidbits in there. Hubad is an excellent platform to, if you only have 10-15 minutes before class, but you and your training partner are there warming up. You just want to do something to kind of, you know, shake the rust off. Doing Hubad, especially if I pick up the pace and I'm really jamming out with somebody that I like to train with, it's like drinking a pot of coffee. By the time I'm done, I just feel like I'm wired and everything feels kind of plugged in and ready to go. And it's also good to do this when you're done maybe kicking Thai pads or rolling, when you've done a big physical, heavy exertion workout. It is a good opportunity to then go, when I'm exhausted or I'm kind of beat up and broken down, can I really still get in there and hang? Is my brain gonna be firing? Is my muscle memory gonna actually take over? And these things, are they gonna come out in an educated way, the way that I need them to when I'm under pressure? You'll make different discoveries along the way. All of that is useful information. So I hope you enjoyed. Keep training. Let us know if you find any cool things along the way, and we'll keep making videos for you. Thank you.